Good morning. Let's see who's here. This is Kenny Tan. Welcome to the Real Biz Academy's Centermac Weekly Sales Training at 11 a.m. every Tuesday. Well, every other Tuesday, 11 a.m. And today we're going to have 4 topics as usual. The 4 topics have to do with, let me take a quick look at my list. First topic is, how do you rank both the YouTube videos and the Pinterest pins on Google's first page for the same keyword search? First topic. And the second one is, listing agents are the kings and queens these days. So how can you become one? So you can become kings and queens as well. And the third topic is, how to make effective buyer presentation. There are some tips I want to share with you, just some personal experience. Okay. And of course, the last topic is, what real estate videos should you make to build influence over your audience? Well, let's see who's here. Well, there's quite a number of people attending today's training, and I very much appreciate that. Okay, well, let's see who's here. We got Joe. Hi, Joe. Good morning. TM, good morning. Alec, as usual, good morning. Carrie, good morning. Arena, very much good morning. And Maria, of course, as usual. I got a bit of cataract, so you have to excuse me if I act a little slowly. And of course, we got Justin, we got Hannah, good morning. Feng Jiao, good morning. Amy, good morning. Lisa, good morning. Who else is here? Wei Feng, good morning. Well, I was wondering when you're going to be making the move to Temecula or Marietta. Well, looking forward to you joining the team. Nick, good morning. Let's see who's here. Brandon, good morning. Well, I'm sure you guys received the email from me. I have deleted some names from the list. I've started with people who has not been attending my training for over 6 months. I think maybe they don't want to have a relationship with me, so that's okay. They will not be invited to future training anymore. If for whatever reason you're not receiving my emails and you think you should be receiving my emails to attend the training, please let me know. If I shouldn't have your name deleted, please let me know. I think for some of you, there are some folks who has been with me for years, who have known me for over 20 years. Our relationship goes way back. So even if he or she is not attending my training, I know, our relationship will always be there. Now, there are a couple of people that actually call me after they got the email. They're saying basically, Kenny, I'm retired. So, I have to take care of my significant other. So I apologize. I can't attend your training. I told her, I replied to her, I said, the email message was not intended for you because I know our relationship goes way back. So I think if there's good reason to believe that the relationship is strong, then sometimes because of personal situation, you don't attend my training. I understand, but I think it's important for two of us, or you and I, to maintain a strong relationship if we want to be able to help each other out. See, in order for the relationship to come together, there's got to be something of value that I'm sharing with you, that I'm bringing to you, And then there's got to be something of value that you bring to me. So if it's a one-way street, it's not going to work, right? So that's why I think attending training is very, very important because I think uh, primarily it's to allow me to build my relationship with you. Secondarily is to make sure you're just getting value or getting the training that you actually need to be successful, to be in your career. I have no expectation as far as the number of transactions you need to complete in a year, but I do have expectation that you should keep yourself up to date. Now, it could be that some of you might come in a little late. That's okay. I mean, at least I know you're there. You care enough about our relationship to be with me certain times of the week, and this is pretty much the only time we can be together with the pandemic and everything. There's one thing the pandemic has taught me. It has taught me that real estate business can be conducted virtually. Uh, I don't see. I mean, I could have the office there for you. If you don't come to the office, we're not spending time together anyway, right? So why would an office be important unless you want to come into the office? See, I think as time goes, people become more and more comfortable about conducting business virtually. That's where I see the industry is going. I think whoever that take advantage of the virtual business is going to get the extra edge, and that's the direction I'm heading. Whatever savings that I get from lower operation costs, eventually I'll pass it on to you guys. And I think uh, it doesn't make sense to charge agent a lot of money where I can make a good enough profit and still make sure that your transactions are conducted safely, ethically, and legally. Isn't that all we want? We want to make some money and we want to live a comfortable life, and we don't want to have to run around showing homes, right? That's why we want to talk about how you can become a listing agent today. And I think for many years, for those of you that have been with me for at least 3 years, you know that for the past 3 years, until of course when the pandemic started, I stopped getting listings for a little bit because I felt that that was the right opportunity for me to start building my online presence, which I did. And I wanted to share with you guys. Because of the pandemic, I was able to build up my YouTube presence. It's not as strong as I want it to be yet, but I'm getting there. And of course, Pinterest. I want to share with you why we should start paying attention to Pinterest, at least from the SEO for Google searches concern. Okay, now let's see who else is here. All right, we got this must be Lily LG. I don't know who LG is. That's probably Lily Garapova. Okay, and May. Okay, welcome May. Thanks for joining. And no worries, no worries, Joanna. As long as you're here, I think the important thing is I know you are here. If I missed you, if I missed mentioning you, feel free to send me another message. And of course, now one thing I forgot. The last time when I was live streaming, I got carried away sharing my screen with you. I think some people may have left some messages or questions, which had I gone back to this original page, I would have seen those messages. But when I was in sharing mode, sometimes I don't see them, so I apologize for that. So feel free to leave messages for me. Okay. That way, if there's something that is not clear to you, I hope I can clarify that. All right. Now, today we actually live stream to YouTube and Facebook. I believe that the information that I shared, they're good information. Why should I just limit it to a small group of people where I can share it to everyone else? There's no trade secrets here, so I think whatever I'm sharing with you, I learned it from somewhere else anyway, right? It's not my copyrighted or protected information, but I think they are information worth sharing with you guys. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Let's go to the share mode. And this is the share mode. You can see myself. I think I do have my camera at the bottom left of the screen. Okay, so you can still see me. All right, let's go to the first topic. How do you make your YouTube videos and Pinterest pins both rank on Google first page on the same keyword? Now, one more thing though, I have to apologize, is that all the examples I'm giving you are the Chinese content because I don't get enough English content to have something to build on. So I'm hoping that more and more participants will give me the information that I need, the content that I need to build the English YouTube channels. Okay, I'm really looking forward to it, but I truly believe that whatever that works for the Chinese content, especially the Chinese content. Well, if the same principles that work for the Chinese contents, I think you can make it work uh, on the English language for sure. So I think the same principles can be applied. So I figured out some things I wanted to share with you. Okay, now my let's go to Google search because it is about Google search, right? So because it is about Google search, let's go ahead and throw in some keywords here. Now, if I input a keyword in Chinese, I'll explain to you in English what these keywords mean so that you can follow along, okay? Now, when I started building my YouTube channel and my Pinterest pin, well, especially my YouTube channel, I I started using a lot of long tail keywords. If you don't know what a long tail keyword is, I'll give you a really long tail keyword. I An example of that. You know for sure I'm going to rank on the long tail keyword, right? So you start using long tail keywords. You want to make sure you use keywords that you can rank in the beginning, no matter how small your YouTube channel is. If you use a keyword that is very competitive, when you are a small YouTube channel, the disadvantage is that you're not going to rank. And when you don't rank, what's the point of using the keywords? You're not going to be found anyway. Where's the best place to hide a dead body? There's a joke on that. Google's second page. That's a good place to hide a dead body because nobody is going to find it. What does that tell you? If your content don't rank on Google first page, forget it. You got to make sure your content rank on Google first page. Now, first of all, the first example I'm going to give you is a long tail keyword. Let's go ahead and punch in that long tail keyword. I'm going to use simplified Chinese first. I actually do have both simplified and traditional on my keywords. Okay, this is the keyword I used before, therefore it pops up. Okay, this one means that if your English is no good, how can you pass the real estate exam? That's what it says, right, in Chinese. So look what happened. See, this is long tail keyword. All my video shows up at the top. Okay, 4 videos. Pretty much that is the maximum that you will show up. All these 4 videos are all mine and they all show up. Now this is long tail. Okay, long tail, they don't get searched a lot. Now if you notice one thing though, right below my videos are 2 Pinterest pins. In fact, right below my video are 1, 2, 3, 3 Pinterest pins. That's a lot. I rarely have 3 Pinterest pins that show up on Google first page. So of course this is long tail. See, these are all 3 pins are my Pinterest pin. Okay, I don't want to click on it because if I click on it, I take you away from the Google search page. So just to illustrate an example, but that is a long tail keyword. And then I slowly develop my keywords actually get shorter and shorter and shorter. So eventually I realized even with the shortest keywords, I can rank. Oh, isn't that amazing? All right, so the first keyword search is if my English is no good, how can I pass the real estate exam? How can I pass the real estate exam? So that is a very long tail keyword. Now let's go to something shorter, okay? Now let's cut it down. Now, most of my contents are in simplified Chinese. I only have a little bit of content that is traditional Chinese. So if you see some content like this one is in traditional Chinese, uh, my content may not show up on Google first page, but let's see what happens. So this is just basically this one here, this keyword is real estate exam. Isn't that short? Okay, that is a short keyword. So let's go ahead and see if I show up. I don't know. Oh, I do show up. Amazingly. I show up because I don't use traditional Chinese very much. So not only does my video show up, it shows up pretty close to the top. And, you know, and then if you look down further, sometimes you will see my Pinterest pin show up even for short keyword search. In this case, no, because I don't have enough content that is in the traditional Chinese. But if I change this to a simplify, you're going to be able to see the big difference. So now let's go ahead and use simplified Chinese. This one means real estate license and see what happens. See, simplified Chinese, real estate license. All three videos are way at the top, right? And then you see right here in the 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth position is my Pinterest pin. Okay. Now, as you know, Pinterest is actually a search engine. It is a search engine by itself, but most of the Pinterest users are female. About 80% of Pinterest users are female. Now, if you look down further, you're going to be able to see this one here with the number 30 in front of it. That is the entire Pinterest board. Okay, so not only does my board show up, not only does my pin show up, my entire board also shows up. So you can see that's how, so at least you see the result right now. So as to how you're going to be able to rank your video on top, as well as your Pinterest pin on top, there are some things you can do. First of all, your the SEO for your YouTube channel, as well as the SEO for your Pinterest profile, have to be very, very strong for a particular area. All right, that is just mine, but I want to show you what I can do to help my agents. Now, this is Kathleen's. Kathleen's is really great. I'll show you Kathleen's, right? So let's say this one here in Chinese. Home buying in San Ramon, if I click this one, you're gonna see Kathleen's video rank way at the top on Google first page, right? So I got three videos, and then I got, I'm sure I have some Pinterest pin somewhere. Okay, San Ramon. Look, San Ramon, my Pinterest pin is in first position. San Ramon, home buying in San Ramon, Pinterest pin first position. Okay, so both my YouTube videos and the Pinterest pin ranks not only on first page, but on at the very, very top, right? Now, this is simplified Chinese, but if I change it to this traditional Chinese, uh, it actually will show up too. Although probably the ranking might not as good, might not be as good, but you see, because I don't use traditional very much, so I eventually I'm going to use more traditional Chinese. So you can see all 4 videos are Kathleen's videos. And then the Pinterest pin, 2 of them actually rank higher than the videos. Okay. Now, if I increase the geographical coverage bigger, let's say I search East Bay, okay? East Bay, buying homes in East Bay, that is a bigger area. Now, this is in traditional Chinese. Look whose video show up. That's Carrie's video. Her video ranks #1 on home buying in the East Bay. Okay. Uh, I have yet to figure out why yet. Okay. Next time I know why, I'll let you know. Uh, and if I use simplified, now because not too many people compete with us on this keyword, that's why we rank very high. But if I use a keyword, if this is changed to, let's say, simplified, we probably won't be ranked as high, but we will still rank on the first page though, right? See, you can see Carrie's video still ranks, okay? And I can do the same thing about Judy's videos. Her videos always rank very high because there's not much competition in Sacramento. So one thing about Judy's videos, I want to share a few things with you about what makes a good video, or why is it that she's getting so much business in Sacramento. It's got something to do with the content of a video. Generally speaking, uh, especially lately, the audience retention of a video is actually very, very high. I want to show you a couple of videos where she's doing really, really well. That particular video, I'm sure, got her a lot of business. Okay, this one right here. I think if you're willing to invest the time to do it, uh, getting your name out on YouTube is not too bad. I think it's not a bad place to be in. I think if you do that, you're going to see, okay, that your business take off. Uh, how about I do this? I want to show you. If I search in YouTube for buying a home in Sacramento, her video ranks high because there's not much competition there. So if you're an agent in the area, you can follow the footsteps of Judy. I think it's not bad in that place. This is the video that every time when I search the same keyword, it's just going to rank #1. So what is it that makes this video special? I'll share with you. Okay, I'm going to mute the video. I'm going to mute the video so you're not hearing anything, but I want to show you the stats so you can see why this video ranks very high on this YouTube search and Google search. If you look at the analytics, now as far as the click-through rate, you look at the click-through rate. Click-through rate is 8.5%. The average on YouTube is 4% to 7%. Now, what determines a click-through rate? 2 things determine your click-through rate. Actually, 3 things. The first thing that determines your click-through rate is your thumbnail. You see this thumbnail right here? It's a very simple thumbnail. Basically, it says 3 recommended areas to buy homes in the Sacramento area. Simple as that. But I'm sure this particular video got her at least 3 buyers. I know that. Okay. And then if you look at the engagement, On the right hand side, you see the average view duration. Uh, it's not the best, but it's pretty good. 6 minutes average view duration for a 16 minutes video. That is a very good stat. That tells you a lot about this video. If you ever have a chance to watch the video, you will understand why the audience, figure out what the audience likes. If you can figure out what the audience like, it's like if you can understand what your customers want, you had it. You have it won. So one thing I like about the content is that when she makes the comparison of the three communities, she not only talks about the good, she also talks about the bad. And I think audience like that kind of honest opinions from real estate agents because you're not making a sales pitch. It doesn't feel or sound like an advertisement. So this is what I call a soft advertisement. So if you can make content that makes people want to watch your future videos, that is really, really good. So in this case, we target three different keywords: home buying in Sacramento, home buying in Elk Grove, and home buying in Folsom. So, and then this one here, I don't want to show you the share. The share is actually important too. This one has got, if you look at the screen, I don't know if you can see it, it's got 23 shares, so that's pretty good. So how YouTube decide which video to promote, they look at a few pieces of information. The number of, basically, essentially, they look at the audience engagement. So it's got enough comments, it's got 20 plus comments. And then the audience retention is pretty good. Average view duration is pretty good. Click-through rate, of course, they like the click-through rate at 8.5%. Okay, so there you have it. So that's how you rank YouTube video and Pinterest pin on Google's first page up. Now the YouTube video, how do you get found? How does your video get found? Depends on what keyword you target. And your keyword would have to show up on your title, okay, and your description and your tag. I make sure in all three places your keywords show up in. Okay. Now let's go to Pinterest. I want to talk to you about Pinterest. Pinterest is right here. This is my Pinterest account. Uh, let's go to Pinterest board. Go to save. That's where you can see the board. The Pinterest SEO actually shows up here. You have to have the board title. It used to be known by a different name, but I changed it. So it now reads a home buying because if somebody searches the keyword and if your board has a title that has the keyword, it helps. And then in the description, very similar to YouTube where the title, description, and of course the tag as well. You see the tag that I put in at the top? Those are the tags that I target. I could target English tags for the Chinese content as well, but presently I'm not doing that. But over here, you got the cities names. I have hashtags of the cities name plus home buying. So I have home buying in Dublin, home buying in Danville, home buying in Sacramento, home buying in Livermore, Pleasanton, and then the Chinese one as well. Okay, so this tend to help the SEO. And then of course, the individual pin. I have different sections in my Pinterest. You got home buying in Orange County, home buying in San Diego, home buying in the Bay Area, home buying in Greater Los Angeles, and of course, home buying in Sacramento. So it's divided into 5 different sections. Now, this one here, I need to change this one, obviously, right? Because right now, all it says is Greater Los Angeles. What about if I go ahead and add in home buying, right? And that should help me with the SEO. Okay. All right, I changed this. So now I can save it. So you have to manage your Pinterest account so that you're getting the maximum benefit. So everything says home buying, right? Well, the only one that it's in traditional is because Jean is very adamant about keeping her business within the traditional Chinese content. I think that is not a great idea because by doing so, you're limiting yourself to those people that do searches in traditional Chinese. People that search in simplified Chinese might not be able to find your content, which is why some of our later content we're actually alternating between the simplified Chinese and traditional Chinese. Of course, we're always going to have some English words somewhere. Okay, so I'm hoping that more agents will help me build our English content on Pinterest as well as on YouTube. I strongly believe that if I can make the Chinese content work, I can make the English content work as well. Now, our strategy is to grow from a small area and slowly expand it to a bigger and bigger and bigger area. Right now, my channels are not so big, so I can't dominate with the most common and the most popular keyword search yet. But eventually, I'll get there. Okay, but I am moving in that direction. We've been publishing video nearly, I think at least on an average, one every 2 days. So that's a lot of videos that we're publishing, but I'm truly lacking the English content. I keep urging for more English content, but I'm not getting them. Okay. Uh, we need to have more English content. All right, let's move on to the next topic. Okay. Let me take a quick bit at my next topic. Next topic is listing agents are kings and queens. How can you become one? Let's go back to my home page. Okay. I want to go back to my home page. I don't know who else has checked in. Okay. Let's go to my scene window. If you join us late, please check in so I know you are here. Okay. All right. Back here. Who else is in the training that I have not mentioned their name yet? Let me know. Say something so I know you're there. I'm not seeing anybody else checking in. Okay. I'll say this to you. I'll say this to you. Why do you want to have a relationship with somebody and don't bother to do the things that you need to do to keep that relationship? If I don't reach out to you, you don't reach out to me for months, how can we have that relationship? Don't you want to know what kind of value I can bring to you? Some of the things I'm teaching you actually, some of the things I actually experienced myself. As you know, before the pandemic came, I was driving and driving and driving all over California. Of course, that wasn't too wise, but I spent a lot of time on the road. I go to different places to sign listings. As far north as Santa Rosa, as far south as San Diego. I just never had the privilege of signing listings in Central California, although I did sign a couple of listings in Merced. Believe it or not, I had a listing in Merced, even though it didn't sell, but I went to Merced. See, during the pandemic, all I keep hearing is that agents are taking buyers, driving, taking them to see so many homes, submit so many offers. Some of you took 8 offers to get it accepted, some 6. It is very rare that you get an offer accepted on the first try anyway these days, right? Whereas listing agents, they are not short of buyers. Even houses that has some issues, some problems, they sell. So isn't this the right time to become a listing agent? I'm sure it's a no-brainer. I think it makes a lot more sense to become a listing agent because once you have the listing up, aside from the initial preparation work that you need to do, you need to uh, see what kind of improvement you need to make the house look nice and acceptable. You need to do some staging maybe, and then you need to take the photography, right? Can somebody say something so I know you're still there? If I don't hear anything, usually I think you're not there anymore. Well, uh, how can you become a listing agent? The one way that I know, which I personally have experience, oh, Mello, hey, thanks for coming. Appreciate that. So I know you guys are still there. Okay, who else is there? Okay, Ella would say, yep, means what? You want to be a listing agent? Sure. I'll share with you how you can become a listing agent. If you are a seller, all you really care about. Hello, Jean Riley. Jean, you with me? Okay, great. Even Jean Riley is here. 13 houses last Friday. That's the same story that everybody is telling me. I know you said there were 13 houses last Friday. Oh my God. Judy was driving all over town. I'm pretty sure the reason she missed today's meeting is because she's taking buyers to see homes. You take buyers to see homes. You don't attend my training, which, of course, I have valuable information to share with you. Uh, I started out my career actually by being a listing agent. My very first deal was of being a listing agent. So I know it's like being a listing agent. In fact, for a while, I was just a listing agent. I don't even want to do buyer's deals anymore. I just kept doing listing because I think listing makes more sense to me in terms of time management. But the hard part about getting listing is that competition is pretty tough, that's for sure. You know, because a lot of people want to become listing agents these days. You can rely on marketing to get listings. There are 2 ways to get listings, marketing and sales. Which one do you like better? You prefer to wait for people to call you, or you don't mind calling people? Well, are you more comfortable with calling strangers, or you're more comfortable with calling people that you know? See, some people are more comfortable with calling strangers, but they got 2 fears that they have to overcome: the fear of rejection, then the fear of failure. Well, some people even have the fear of acceptance. Well, you might be wondering, what's a fear of acceptance? Well, here's an example. You call, and then lo and behold, the guy wants to sell his house. Now you start thinking, oh my God, I got an opportunity. So what am I going to do? Well, let's see what Alex comment is. Okay, my cataract. All right, all right, all right, all right. Okay, Ella was saying, still am motivated to be a listing agent. Okay, well let's talk about. So now let's talk about the fear acceptance. If you don't have the skills to do a listing presentation, you get scared when somebody say, "Hey, come on over. I'm ready to talk to you." And then suddenly you say, "Oh my God, I need to go for a listing presentation. I've never done one." You see, it's easy to do a listing presentation to somebody that you already know. It's more difficult to do a listing presentation in front of a total stranger. Now, who here has done a listing presentation using FaceTime to a total stranger? Who? Let me know in the chat room so I can we can exchange information. I did 2 years ago. Well, actually, it was less than 2 years ago. It was late summer in 2019. That's when I was really, really into prospecting calls. My normal schedule was 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the evening. That was pretty fanatical. Uh, I think to be a listing agent, you really need to have a very strong mindset. You need to have a defensive mechanism and be prepared for any kind of response. Go through your mind what kind of responses you're likely to encounter. Well, I'll share with you the kind that I encounter. Now, the kind that ask you to buzz off or F off, don't worry about those because I think probably it's less than 5% of the time. So even that 5% of the time, for some people, they will be affected by this type of call. So much so that they they are fearful about making the next dial. So you need to develop some kind of defensive mechanism. Whatever that defensive mechanism that you develop, just stick with it. If you get a response like that, if I get a response like that, usually I laugh it out. Okay, I might say ah or something like that, just so that I basically just so that I don't get hurt, so I can have some kind of defensive mechanism. You have to have some kind of response, either verbally or physiologically, to deal with this type of response. Now, what if another type of response would be you make the dial and the guy picks up and say, before you could even begin to speak, the guy said, not interested. Okay. All right. If the guy says not interested, what should you do next? Well, perhaps you shouldn't waste time with this guy because what are the chances of the guy who gave you a not interested response actually wind up doing business with you? I think the likelihood is very, very small. But if you only need to spend a minute to find out about that possibility, perhaps it is worth exploring why this guy is saying not interested. Is he saying not interested because he's really not thinking about moving? Why are you making phone call to him? Okay, that's one possible reason. Another reason why this guy is saying not interested could be that he's an expired listing owner. See, the thing is, when you call the expired listing, the minute the expired listing is published, he's going to be bombarded with phone calls. And you probably want to be the first five callers because if you're like the 10th or 15th caller, by that time, he's already have his defensive mechanism set up. It's hard to penetrate. Okay. If you're the first caller, your chance is going to be very, very good. Okay. Because he hasn't gotten his defensive mechanism set up yet. So he may be communicating the truth to you. Sometimes, especially when we call the expired listing, the guy said he's not interested is because he tried so hard to get his property sold after 6 months, after so many showings. He still could not get his house sold. His frustration is talking. Sometimes they say, I'm not interested. It could be that it doesn't necessarily mean that he doesn't have to sell. He still has to sell. But at that point in time, he's just not in the right frame of mind to speak to another realtor. By then, he probably has a certain distrust of realtors. Perhaps uh, the last realtor left a very bad experience. But I think if you can penetrate that and you could identify that this guy not only has a need to sell, he has a motivation to sell. He could be thinking about, well, why do I need a realtor? Maybe I try to do it on my own. Now, your goal will be to identify such people because with them, the not interested is the type of not interested for which you want to spend a little bit of time on. But you wouldn't know until you start having some conversation with them. For example, like if the guy say not interested, you could respond by saying that I'm not asking you if you are interested in my call. I'm asking you if you're interested in getting your home sold. Some kind of response. You have to write it out in the script because if you don't write it out in the script, you stumble or you lose credibility. So it's got to be real smooth. So, okay, that's another thing. Not everybody can uh, have the determination and discipline to work on their scripts because the good prospector, they work on their scripts every morning. Every morning when they wake up, they read the same script to themselves. Okay, they practice their script before they actually start dialing. That's the kind of mentality that the listing agents have. Because what is the most effective way to get a lot of listings? I think is to make the prospecting calls. You can get a lot of listings, but I think you can get even more listings if you're willing to pick up the phone and start calling people. Now, with the pandemic, when it first started, it's difficult. I know it was really, really difficult. I know Andrew was making a lot of phone calls. Those were frustrating months, I'm sure, for Andrew. Uh, Last year's March, April, that was challenging. I know how tough it was. Even that time, if you try to make a neighborhood phone call, you're probably going to get rejected anyway. Okay. And it's not very productive. So the first thing you need to do is to accept the fact that scripts are good. Some people hate scripts, but scripts are good because with scripts, if you can internalize the script, you can speak confidently. When you can speak confidently, you can actually win the trust from the people that you make phone calls to. That's what you need to do. Okay. I'll share with you some more about becoming a listing agent in the future. I might work with you on some scripts in the future. All right, let's move on to the next topic. Okay, next topic is talking about how to make an effective buyer presentation. So you get a phone call from a buyer that is interested in buying. Well, naturally, you want to find out, is he buying for investment or you want to find out the reason for the purchase? You see, you get different kinds of buyers. Some buyer needed to make a purchase because they are making a 1031 exchange. Another buyer is a first-time home buyer who wants to buy a house because the interest rate is so low right now, and they're paying a lot of money for their rent, so it makes sense for them to own their own home. So that's another type of buyer. And then you have another type of buyer that uh, what do you call it? That they just want to get they don't want to put their cash in the bank. They just want to get better return on an investment. So that's another kind of buyer. Obviously, you cannot make the same presentation to different buyers. Different buyers deserve to have different presentations. So if I make the mistake of making the wrong presentation on a buyer, I could lose this buyer after the first initial contact. So if I'm making a presentation to an investor buyer, they care about return. And I tell you though, many investor buyer, they cannot accept the fact that they have negative cash flow. If you make a proposal that demonstrates to them what the cash flow is like and is negative, and the guy is an investor, I think you may have some work to do to establish trust again. So, for example, you could try exploring maybe duplex might work better for this guy. In some areas, duplexes are better than single family residence, just in terms of return. So uh, don't just limit yourself to single family residence. Think outside the box. What's most important to this guy? Okay. Now you need to, sometimes they share with you. Sometimes they say, well, initially I want to hold it as an investment, but after a while we want to move in there. Well, then you have to also look at the school district. So think in terms of what the buyer wants to see. If I share the wrong information, quickly they will lose interest in me. So it's very important to have some conversation with them to find out exactly what they want. Now, the buyer that is doing a 1031 exchange, it is rather infrequent that a buyer that is doing a 1031 exchange is not represented by an agent when he or she contacts you. Perhaps he doesn't trust the last agent that did the sale of his 1031 exchange property, so he wanted to switch agent. Now, in that situation, the guy is doing a 1031 exchange. You want to have some conversation with the guy about your knowledge in 1031 exchange. I mean, if you don't even know how to do a 1031 exchange and you're trying to find a home to satisfy this guy, I think it may be difficult to build trust in that case, right? I mean, you want the guy to feel comfortable. You want to know, uh, all the deadlines and all the different options that he has available as someone who's going to buy a replacement property. Some people don't even know, some agents don't even know that you can sell one property and buy several or multiple properties to satisfy a 1031 exchange. See, all of these things you can learn it through training like this. That's why it's even more important that you attend today's training. Okay, let's see. I hope I cover enough. Now, when you do a buyer presentation, some graphics is important. The last time I shared with you a buyer presentation a template that I created using Canva, but that's just a template though. Once you get the template, you might want to tweak it a little bit to fit that particular buyer's profile. You can't use the same template on every single buyer, because they have different needs. They look for different things. So, I mean, if all you're doing is when the buyer contacts you, if all you're doing is just to download MLS listing and send it to the guy, uh, a lot of agents might be doing the same thing. So, how can you make yourself stand out? You probably have to share additional information that he finds valuable. So, if he finds value in what you're giving him, then he's more likely to do business with you. All right, so much for buyer representation or presentation today. Now, last topic is about what kind of real estate video you should make in order to build influence over your audience. I will share with you because I've seen enough data based on probably about 200 plus videos that we have made. Okay. Uh, as a real estate agent, there are several kinds of videos you can make. You can make videos that simply show homes. I mean, of course, this type of video, if all you do is just to do a 3D shot of the house versus a vlog style video where you're actually offering more, something that is more valuable. You walk into a space, okay, you can talk about things that you personally feel that a buyer or prospective buyer, an audience looking at the video might not actually feel the feeling. Uh, it's going to offer additional value. See, that's why sometimes when we shoot video, all we do is just shooting video. This kind of video, really, I mean, you can see the audience retention is very, very low. Most of the videos that we make on new homes, the audience retention are really, really short because if you watch a video of the inside of a model home, after a while, they all look very similar. They all look about the same. About most people, the average audience retention is only about 2%. Not 2%, I'm sorry. It's about the average view duration is about 2 minutes. Okay. Audience retention is usually short also. You can have a high click-through rate and yet very low average view duration. Well, because the high click-through rate, these are people who are actually looking for homes. So usually when I make the new home video, when I advertise it, I target people who are looking for homes to buy. Okay. Now, if it's a particular video about a certain home, uh, sometimes they're not reading it carefully. They see new homes for sale, they click, and then after they watch about 30 seconds or a minute, they realize, oh, this is not the home I want to watch. They're not going to finish your entire video. They're just going to quickly bail out and exit your video. See, that's why this type of video get about less than 2 minutes. Now, another type of video that you can really, really use to build influence are the video about lifestyle. I think it's got some entertainment value and it's got some educational value. Uh, my experience is, and although we just started recently, okay, I look at even Judy's video when she's comparing all the different communities. See, when she's talking about these different communities, she's not only comparing the home prices, but she's also comparing the amenities, the lifestyle. Do I have a 99 supermarket here? Oh, there is a nice Folsom Bay here. Okay. Oh, Chinese restaurants and Chinese market. So this is the lifestyle video. And the reason why her average view duration is high because the audience find it to be valuable, uh, to worth keep watching versus a video that simply just show the interior of a new home. You know, most people can't spend a long time watching this type of video. I mean, it doesn't mean that this type of videos don't have its place or value. It does, because this type of video has gotten us some bias leads as well. Okay, but in terms of building trust, the trust is very, very fragile. I don't think you can build much trust at all making this type of videos, but uh, it has its purpose in terms of attracting the right people to contact you, because when they saw that video, they're most likely to finish the entire video. Because how I know they finished the video? Because we have a link in the end screen where the person actually clicked the end screen, so I know there were clicks. So some people actually finish it. Those are people that actually has a desire to look for homes in the same community in which the video portraits. Okay, so uh, So just to give you an idea, so we're making more and more lifestyle video. This type of video, I strongly encourage you guys to start making this type of videos. Okay, it takes a little bit extra work because you need to uh, put a dash cam. Speaking of dash cam, I just got my new dash cam installed, so I'll be driving my car around town. Okay, taking videos of street scenes. I think you can sit in your car, take a video of an intersection, for example, or you can just drive around the neighborhood. I think this offers extra value to include in your video. Okay. All right. So let's see what else. What kind? There's another type of video you can make. A video that shares your knowledge as a real estate agent. When you're a new agent, the last two types of videos are the type of videos that you can think about making. Okay. Now, I fully support both types of video. If you make both types of videos, Centermac is going to spend some money uh, to promote this video because I think these videos will help you launch your real estate career. I think if nothing else, it makes you more visible. Well, what does it make you more visible? Means when you're more visible, uh, people think that you're doing well as a real estate agent. You see, they want to associate with a successful real estate agent. So they keep seeing your videos, especially when you're making all the different kinds of content, lifestyle video, new home video, knowledge-based video. Knowledge-based video might be something you're talking about. The home buying process, you can share with them. Now, as a new agent, once you have made once you have closed a few transactions, you can start sharing with the audience about your knowledge in the real estate business by sharing with the audience. You can do it as you can do a talking head video, or you can do a vlog video where actually you accompany the client to see the escrow officer to do the doc signing. I think for people that have never bought home before, uh, this is pretty refreshing because they don't know what it's like. They don't, when you make videos, you want to have what we call the B-roll, or else it's just you talking all the time. It's not very exciting. So when we make video, we want to encourage you to take a lot of video clips so we can use them as B-roll as we play the video. All this B-roll will show up in different places. It makes your video more engaging and less boring. When we make video, sometimes we change the camera angle, sometimes we change the distance between your face and the camera. We alter this thing so there is less fixation because sometimes if you're looking at talking head for too long, afterward you just kind of tune off. Versus when the screen it keeps changing, it actually uh, makes the brain works a little bit. So it makes the person feel like, hey, he's looking at new information all the time instead of just looking at the face, right? Just like the way I'm doing right now. I don't have a better way of doing it, but I shouldn't be doing, but this is live stream, so it's different, okay? If I have an assistant help me on the side, you will not be looking at me talking all the time, right? So even when I'm talking, I'm not sitting still like this. If I'm sitting still, that might create a fixation effect. But if I'm moving my head around, you might use my eyes, use my expression a little bit, then I look a little different, right? Okay. So three type content: home showing that gets you immediate buyers, immediate right kind of buyers, and then the lifestyle, that is the trust building video. And then the knowledge base, that is also the trust building. We have three kinds of uh, content going, and we keep uploading them to YouTube, to Pinterest. They're going to get more and more robust And then the channel is going to get bigger and bigger, and then YouTube is going to rank our channel higher and higher. So eventually, you're going to get found. Versus if you're trying to do it by yourself. That's another reason I don't encourage agents setting up their own channel, is because if you do it by yourself, it's not the same thing as us combining our resources. Why do we want to combine resources? Because you know why? We share the same metadata. For example, Carrie's video now ranks for the keyword home buying in East Bay. Now, I have another agent coming along, and it's one of our agents. Their videos are both going to show up. And, we're just going to help each other out. Eventually, the whole idea is to get our name out, okay, to get our brand name out, and to help each other to get business. When we get business, we can actually work with other agents, spread the wealth, right? Help each other out, okay? All right, with that said, and I appreciate that so many people showed up today, and there's still a lot of people that don't show up. They're either thinking about ending the relationship with me, or they are not getting my emails, which of course is always a concern. I need to make sure you're getting my emails. So I will have Cheryl contact every single agent to update their emails. So if you do get an email from me, get a phone call from Cheryl, please pick up her phone because she's just trying to update your contact information. Okay? All right. So that's it for the training today. I hope you enjoyed it. And don't forget, who's that? Oh, Kevin. Oh, Kevin, how are you? All right, so you're there. So next time, say hello earlier. That way I know you're there. Who else is there? Oh, Lynn, you're here too. Oh, okay, great. Okay, Hannah. All right, great, awesome. So don't forget, next Tuesday evening at 9 p.m. is our market update live stream. That is company training as well. It's for the San Diego and Orange County market. Some people might be saying, hey, Kenny, I'm in the Bay Area. I'm not even in Orange County or Southern California. Why should I watch? Well, I'll tell you why you should watch. Because one of these days, you could be one of those speakers up there. I know Gene Riley has gotten a few leads by doing a market update, and Gene will tell me about it. Gene always shares with me, so I appreciate that. Okay. So that's why even though I make you attend though, because I make it mandatory. So next Tuesday night, if you can't attend, you gotta let me know, okay? I just want to know why you can't attend. I mean, I'm not saying that if for whatever reason you can't attend, uh, you know, I'm gonna penalize you. No, no, not exactly like that. I just need to know why you can't attend. That's all. I mean, if you can come in and join us, or at least tell me why you can't attend, I think it will be very helpful in terms of me deciding whether or not I want to keep my relationship with you. I think relationship is a two-way street. If we start calling each other, we start corresponding each other, that's when it's going to end. Okay. So that tells me that if you want to be a successful listing agent, make sure you have a good CRM. Okay. All right, guys. I'll see you guys next Tuesday at 9 p.m.